Hey Rick, I want to know the best way that you can lose weight, but I don't want to know about macros. Well, any reason why you don't want to know about macros? I just don't have the time to be learning about that. I don't know what macros are. I don't really care for it. Honestly, I don't want to know. And I can understand why that could be confusing, but what if I explain it to you in a more simple way? What do you mean? Well, did you see my macros video? It was a lot of information for me. I want to see something really quick and just simple and that anyone can understand. Ah, that's perfect. I can do that. So let's get started. Welcome everyone to Do More, Be More. Welcome everyone to Do More, Be More. This is going to be a very simple, quick, to the point version of my macros video. I get it, you don't want to count macros. Completely get it. This video is to make it as simple as possible and to let you know that it's not that hard to do it, and it just takes time. You don't have to learn this tomorrow, and just like everything you've ever done in your life, you have to learn it anyway. So it's either gonna have an idea of what this is like, or you can just go back to salads, not know what you're doing, not like what you're eating, and not knowing if you're actually doing it right. So blue pill or red pill, it's up to you. But why should I care about macros? Because you will be healthier and you'll know what you're doing. And if you're not progressing, you'll know why. And if you are progressing, you'll also know why, as opposed to just not knowing anything. And is that what you want? But real quick, we're gonna go into the fridge and take a look at a couple of things there. Just gonna look at one item, honestly, and that'll be our only frame of reference. So here we go. Okay, so we are going to use this Fairlife fat-free ultra-filtered milk. The reason I'm using this one is because this one, well, I don't know why. And this is the only milk I have. The reason I have it is because it says 80 calories. But there's another video coming up about calories and whether or not they're actually correct or not. That's coming up. But here, as you look at the label, maybe I can get it to focus. Beautiful. So it says 80 calories, but you see those macros. It says total fat, it says carbohydrates, and then it says protein. You're not going to find other milk that is like that, maybe similar, but anyway. The reason that we're gonna look at this for a reference of macros, if you did get to watch the other video and you still didn't understand this, and you would have seen that there's 3 macros that make up the calories that we have on a daily basis. Carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Now they have their own amount of calories per gram. So let's just assume everything is gonna be by gram. 1 gram of carbs, as I mentioned in my other video, is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So fat and carbs are the same thing. So if you see 10 grams of carbohydrates and then 4 grams of 10 grams of protein, you can pretty much do the same math and then you'll come up with the same number. So let's say it's 1, 1, and 1. 1 fat, 1 protein, 1 carb. So that will be 4 plus 4 plus 9, because 4 is protein, 4 is carbs, 9 is fat. Now, fat has more calories, obviously, than the other 2 macros. So that's something to consider. We're gonna look at this item. Just fix that real quick. Now, this one has 6 grams of carbs and then 13 grams of protein. So instead of doing 6 times 4 and then 13 times 4, since they're the same amount of calories for each gram, you just add it all together. So it's 6 plus 13, which is 19. So 19 times 24 is, so as you can see, 80 calories is pretty much it. Why am I not counting fat? Because here it says it is, focus, 0 grams of fat. So there's no need to count fat in there. If there was 1 or 2 or whatever grams of fat, then you just take those, multiply it by 9, and that is it. Now, protein is for building muscle. They're also gonna supply energy. So whatever you eat, you're going to get energy out of it. Protein is good for building muscle. It also takes a little bit more energy out of your body to digest it and to work it and to use it overall. So basically, when you're having more protein than the average person, your body's working more, so it actually takes a little bit more to digest and you end up burning a little bit more calories. So the higher your protein intake, the better. There has been a misconception that you can have too much protein and your body only takes 30 grams of protein in a meal, but don't worry about that. I mean, if feel like having a study that confirms that, I will add it, but if not, I won't. You can have as much protein as you want per meal. And like I said, if you have 30, 50 grams of protein, your body will be able to enjoy all of it. Fat is also useful because it lets you absorb a lot of other nutrients and lets you retain it better, and it just helps with a lot of other things. And they all have their benefits. Just make sure you have your fats as well. There's a lot of good resources of fat. As far as carbohydrates go, that is the biggest source of energy. A lot of marathon runners will stock up on their carbs the night before because they know they're going to be running for hours. So take it from a marathon runner. They need energy throughout a long period of time in which they're doing vigorous movement. Even if it's just jogging for several hours a day, you need carbs. And clearly it's energy it's a good source of energy, and it's something to rely on. So if you're thinking that you're a very active person and you're going to go on a diet that requires you to have very few carbs, prepare yourself to feel not so energized because you're taking away the biggest source of energy from the 3 macros. Now, as far as monitoring them, does that mean you have to know exactly a certain amount of fat that you need to consume or a certain amount of carbs? With those two, my goal is to continue to lose some body fat and continue to grow muscle. Let's say that's an average of what you want to do. I want to grow muscle, so I need the best macro that supports in muscle growth, which is protein. So what's recommended for this situation for me is to have 1 gram of protein for each pound of my body weight in total. So if I weigh, for example, 150 pounds, I'll be consuming about 150 at least. If you have over, it's not a big deal. If you have under, well, when you start doing cardio or you start moving throughout the day or your body starts asking for energy, it's going to start using some of that muscle or protein, and you won't be able to take advantage of full muscle growth because your body is just doing too much of activity. And when you have big muscles, a lot of protein, your body's going to end up using a lot of your body fat for it, which increases the rate in which you're losing body fat. And whether you're losing weight or not, that's irrelevant. It's about whether or not you're losing body fat. So the higher your protein, the more chances your body's going to end up using fat for energy. Carbs as well. You don't want to limit carbs. If anything, you should probably having the highest amount of probably carbs, protein, and fat at the bottom. But however you want to distribute it, that'll be depending on what you feel like. There shouldn't really, unless there's a specific medical reason that says you can't have certain amount of things or whatever, you consult your doctor before even doing that, then honestly, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And then ultimately, if you want to drop in body fat and weight, the only thing you need to worry about as far as that is your calorie deficit. I will put the link for the calorie calculator that I use. You don't have to use a calorie calculator to be in a deficit. You don't have to count calories to be in a calorie deficit, but nevertheless, it's good to use these so that you can have an idea. You need all the macros. They all have benefits and they all have different caloric values. Protein and carbs, obviously not because they're the same. Again, 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. And then 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. With that in mind, experiment. Play around with it. Some foods will vary dramatically, and then some foods, like milk, for example, fat-free, and then full fat, and then organic, whatever. Not organic, but other types of food. Almond milk. There's going to be a lot of variation. So this one has 13 grams of protein for 1 cup or 8 ounces, which is a lot of protein because it's ultra filtered. See, ultra filtered. So that means that there's a whole lot less fat and a whole lot more protein, whereas opposed to other milks like almond milk is only going to have about 2 grams of protein, I think, for a serving, or maybe 1 gram of protein. So almond milk is going to be a whole lot less in calories, of course, so that's also an option for that. I have a different use for everything. I use this when I'm having cereal, and then I have almond milk when I'm using my protein shakes if I ever do feel like having it, or when I'm making protein ice cream. So do with that what you will. I'll keep it as simple as possible. I'm not going to extend any further. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it is simple. If you have questions, I will answer them, whether that is on any comment section below. You want to message me through direct messages, that's fine too. Continue to show your support on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And you already know, if you do more, you will be